Welcome back to Ralph's. I wanted to show the latest project I've been working on the last couple weeks, last couple, I'd guess. About a year and a half ago, we had our first grandchild, and I wanted to make a barrel train for him. I thought it would be fun when he comes to visit to ride around, and I'd watched a number of YouTube videos and did some research online and saw what other people had done and saw what some guys that manufacture them have done. And so I used the tubing I already had. So basically took a stick of 24-foot piece of that's an inch and a half of 14 gauge. Those are 55 gallon. They had chocolate syrup in them. Bought them from a local guy. He had a really good price on them. He had a whole bunch of them. Somebody in his family had gotten them and they were trying to get rid of them. So inch and a half, or what did I say? Yeah, inch and a half, 14 gauge tubing. And then the old Harbor Freight wheel tire combo. I think they're good for 300 pounds, what they said. We'll see. Or I keep having to put air in them. So, see, I had a tube of 12 laying around. I wanted to, these are the idea being that these would be for a bigger kid. And so that's a tube of 12 in the bottom with a 2x4 crossed. And then it screws into the side of the barrel. That's fairly not super thick. It's probably 3/16. But I believe they're UMHWs, so they're pretty strong. This was version 1. I wanted to make this has a longer hitch on it, I guess you would say, to go behind the tractor, because for one, I didn't think a kid would want to be sitting right behind the tractor and hearing the hydrostat whine, and also because it's got 3-point arms, so I need the clearance. And instead of getting all fancy, I just used the same tubing and walled up a little bit of a lowering here because the hitch on the tractor was higher than I wanted to make it. Well, actually, it was taller than the tire, so it would have set at a real angle with a piece to keep it from popping up off the hitch. And before I forget, these came from the local Michaels, where we got them from. You can buy them on Amazon, but they were a little bit cheaper at Michaels. Let's see, what else can I tell you? 5/8. All these little wheels have 5/8. Got interrupted. Sorry. Yeah, these wheels have 5/8. Use 5/8 shaft. So what I did was I took on the end of that tubing. You just cut a piece on the table and welded this all the way around the tube. It's actually a bolt. Just a grade 2 bolt. I figured if we bend 2 5/8 bolts, we got somebody too big in there. So we'll see how long it lasts. I'll flip that up on its side more so I can see it, or you can see it. 1.5 inch strap. Also had that here, and I rolled that so it would fairly match the contour of the barrel. And then just this piece to give it some, so it didn't wobble and get all wonky. And there's 4 bolts, 1/4 inch bolts. There's 2 on the back that go through, 2 on that go through the strap, and then 2 that go through this front strap. They're obviously welded into the main tube. Version 1, I think I already said it, tube of 12. This one I used, as you probably know, when you put a screw into the end grain of any wood, but specifically pine, it's not super strong on pull out. These are Spax screws. I really like them. I think Home Depot has GSK brand. These came from Menards. If you're not local to the Midwest, that's just another home center. First version, it was a little bit too high, so I had the wife. She was my model, which was fun watching. She's not a super tall gal, but it's fun watching her get in and out of them. Anywho, she's not a big gal, but she was setting too high in it, so we scooted it down. These are 4 inch long. They go in through that tube of 12, which is Southern pine, so it's pretty strong. And then what I did was I put 2x4 crossed screws through here. This is a piece of foam. It was actually that like the kids play foam you find at the stores. I just wanted something softer. And then it screws in. There's a 2x you can kind of see back there that screws down in the 2x12. And then these screw to that to give it a little bit of an angle. And then one screw up here in the top to go into this. This plastic rim's pretty thick. So I don't think it's going to go anywhere unless I just not riding around in it. This was version 2. I guess you'd call it that. This was shorter tongue to go behind the other one. And then same idea, because I had the 2x12. The idea, I just didn't want to go buy a bunch of stuff for this. I already had the 2x12. 2x4 in the bottom, also side screwed. I did the back on this one a little bit different. Instead of using the screws like the first one to go through, I used a 2x4 that is underneath the seat. Sorry, I should have had a light before I started recording. There's a 2x4 that screws out, or that bolts up to the back wall of the barrel. These tops are pretty strong, or pretty thick. And then in the seat, the main 2x12 screws down into that 2x4. And then also the 2x4 behind that screws down into the 2x12, and then same idea, 2 screws there. And then instead of screwing that back, and I'll explain why in a second, it's actually a flathead bolt that goes back here with a lot nylock rounded off so it's not sharp. On the first one, the way these barrels are made, I've seen barrels, they're flat. It seems like every manufacturer makes them different. Some of them are flat. They go straight up to the rim. And then these, the guy had, like I said, they were local, they were cheap. So, but these have a taper to them. You can see, there you can kind of see it. They taper up to the rim of the barrel. I was trying to get the barrel so that when the kid was setting in it, that their body weight, and this is all a guess, but their body weight would be about over the middle of the axle, or just a little bit in front of, so it'd have a little bit of tongue weight, so it wouldn't do that, as you're pulling them and they're bouncing up, and the tongue would be banging up, and that was the idea, was to move them just a little bit forward. And I had the wife in there. She's my live-in model, and it had some tongue weight on it. It wasn't great, but it had a little bit in there. So I thought, all right, well, on the next one, let's make it, and let's scoot that forward. So I scooted the seat forward or the back. So if they slide all the way back, they still have to set in front of the axle. It's kind of forcing them to. So I cut this, instead of cutting it all the way back or up against the rim, the barrel, I scooted it out about 2 inches. And that forces the kid, if they're leaning up against it, pushes them up here. So, and it did actually, when she was setting in it, put more tongue weight on it. Not a lot, but enough to keep it, I think, from. And I had them all hooked together and drug her around, and we were messing around with it and stuff. And it works fine. It doesn't want to wheelie. So I made those 2 for the bigger kids, and I'm probably going to make some more because I have more barrels now. I just need to get some new tubing. And then these are made, these are my twin toddler. I thought I just like the idea of putting the toddler kids side by side. These are actually plastic rockers that we found in a local farm store. They were on sale for the season. And same idea. Let me roll over there. I'm sitting on a dolly or a seat rolling around. 2x4 in the bottom. Yeah, good. 2x4 screwed in through the sides. And then I've got a 2x back there to kind of support the weight in the middle, so you're not relying strictly on this. Actually, that's a 2x6. It's been a while since I made these. 2x6 goes across. I needed that. I had to re-drill these because I didn't like the way, this is the first one, didn't like the way I got the angle in it a little bit too far back, and I wouldn't say that it would tip out, but I wanted them to set more in it. My grandbaby's not local. I haven't had a chance to get a live demo yet. But same idea, SPAC screws on the bottom. The tops of them are flat. The wife was concerned about the kids sitting on that filling, and I'm like, well, the kids sitting on this are probably going to have diapers, so they're not going to fill anything anyway. Chances are, but we don't know until we try. Screw in the back. When I re-drilled that, this is pretty thin plastic, and so it was wanting to roll or screw the hole up, and the screw was wanting to pull out. The seat was wanting to pull out of the screw, so I found the local hardware store. They're just a washer to go around the screws. Yeah, this is all a trial and progress, having never built them before. And then same idea down here in the bottom. Like the angle better, and they said when you pull them down, yeah, it puts some stress on the plastic, and yeah, it may break out at some point. But these were cheap; they were $8, $9 a piece. You can buy them online from the people that actually make them. You can find them on Amazon too, but they were way more expensive on Amazon. I don't know why, and that was a company that was China based. These guys are based in the U.S., so. Same idea. Not going to try to flip this one. It's fairly heavy. Straps underneath the front, strap under the back with the little supporter strap there on the side. And hole in the back so you can hook something behind it if you want to put them in the middle, or you decide where you want to put these in order. So that was it. Just wanted to show what I've been working on. It was a fun project. I enjoyed looking forward to seeing him hopefully getting in and riding. And we've got both sides, we have fairly large families and a lot of kids and toddlers right now, the next generation coming along. So that'd be fun to load these on the trailer and take them over and drag the kids around family events or whatever. That's why I want to make at least two more. This is actually to give you an idea of frame of reference, the yellow one, that one's different because the tongue's longer. The tubing that I used in the middle is 4 foot long and then 2 foot wide. So 6 foot of tubing per each. And a stick of tubing, I believe, is 24 foot. So with scrap, should be able to get 4 out of it. To be able to make 4 more out of one stick of tubing, or a solid 3. And I've got 4 more barrels, so we may get a couple sticks and make 4 more. Anyway, one last thing. Seen, which I thought was a clever idea. They used reflectors to cover up the bungs. You can put the caps back in, but these didn't have the caps. 2 of them didn't. So you get a 3-inch reflector, and I'll try hot gluing it on there, or hot gluing it should work. UMHW, which I'm pretty sure these blue barrels are made from. It's as you probably know, nothing sticks to it very well. Paint won't stick to it. It will, but you got to sand it and prep it and all that. And then that's why we didn't paint them. They were in pretty good shape outside, and I just didn't want to paint them. You could. It would take a lot of paint, though, a lot of spray cans. And then I don't have to worry about it. And that's why I did the frames the way they are, so the frame and the seat will match. And that's about it. So we'll see how they do long term. These one last. I keep saying, one more thing. The width of this is wide enough that I was concerned that I might break that weld back here where the tongue goes back to the cross tube for the axles. So I ended up putting some gussets or just some 1-inch tubing to tie in to keep that from moving. And then same across the front here. You needed something to hold the front of the barrel. So that's just 1-inch tube. And with the barrels on these, you've got it bolted to the back, to the strap, bolted up here to the strap. I just don't think it'll break. I don't think the welds will break. I drug her around quite a bit around the property in the 2 that she could fit in. And I don't think it'll be an issue. I really don't. We don't have anything faster than a garden tractor that's small to be able to pull around. So I don't know how well I would trust it going 40 mile an hour behind a side by side or something, but we don't have to worry about it. But anyway, thanks for watching. Appreciate it if you could, if you liked it or got anything out of it, to give me a thumbs up, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to share. That's it. So thanks for watching.